Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Boardbag Studio, the podcast where I, Jesse Paul, talk to snowboarders about their habits regarding fitness, health, and everything else. Today I spoke with Ryan Paul in my parents' kitchen in Maple Grove, Minnesota. He drove out from Cottage Grove, Minnesota. And today's episode is brought to you by Raw Life Superfoods, a whole food supplement company that is super awesome. It's all organic. They've got a superfood powder, protein powder. They've got some raw honey and algae oil, which for those of you who don't eat fish 2 to 3 times per week, it's recommended for optimal health to take a fish oil or algae oil supplement. It's a great addition to any supplement or to any just person who wants to live better. And algae oil is awesome because it doesn't harm any fish, and apparently it's more bioavailable than fish oil. And fish actually get their omega-3s, the DHA and EPA, from algae. So why not just get it straight from the source? Anyways, the company's really cool. It's started by John Mata and Joey Mata. They are a pro skateboarder and pro BMXer. And it's really cool to see someone in our industry doing a company like this. So my listeners will get 10% off by using the code Jesse at the checkout. That's JESSE. And you can check that out at rawrlife.com. That's RAWRLIFE.com. In this episode, I talked to Ryan about everything from World Record Jump, which is a video project he's working on this year, to designing pro model graphics, to his diet and doing yoga, getting sober, why he went sober in high school at such a young age, and how he has gone through a period of his life where he was winning a lot of contests and spending a lot of time and money getting his body in the best shape he possibly could. He told me about taking ice baths and cold showers, and we talk about raw superfoods quite a bit, and that is one of the reasons I decided to reach out to them. I figured this would be a cool episode for them to sponsor, especially because Ryan is somewhat involved with them. And Ryan tells me about some scuba diving and our collective bad experiences with scuba diving. And it was a really fun conversation. If any of you guys know Ryan, you know that he is so different than anyone else. The way he snowboards, the way he looks at life, just his presence is so unique and energizing, and we just had a lot of fun talking. So I think you guys are going to have a good time. He's one of the first people that I knew that ate vegan, and honestly first kind of got me slightly interested in it. And he's done a lot of different things, and it's really cool to hear his very unique perspective on living a healthy, happy, fulfilling life. So sit back and enjoy this deep dive into Ryan Paul's life. What's up, Ryan?
Yo, what up, Jesse?
How's it going?
Great. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm stoked.
Yeah. So what were you up to this morning?
Let's see. My lady friend and I took our dogs on a walk. Well, our dog and then my parents' dog. We took them on a walk, and then I took a shower. I rolled around on the floor a little bit.
Like rolled out, foam roll?
Yeah. No, not foam rolled.
Oh,
I just rolled around on like the carpet. I turned like the fireplace on and just kind of, I did like, I think I'm going to call it roll yoga.
Oh, yeah?
Just kind of like,
New thing?
Yeah, like when you get up, like sometimes your back's a little like tight or sore or whatever from just sleeping all night or whatever. And I just roll out, and then if I end up in some like weird funky position, I'll stretch a little bit. And I've done yoga in the past, so I don't know, like
borrow from yoga
exactly.
and then
Yeah.
make it up as you go.
Yeah, it's like a free form kind of thingy.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I drove here.
Cool. Did you eat breakfast this morning?
Kind of. I had coffee, and then I almost got another coffee at the gas station. I was like, no, I don't need that.
And now you're drinking
No, I'm
another
drinking
one.
another coffee. Yeah, and then I had like some sort of sandwich from the gas station.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I got some fuel in me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming over. Right now we are at my parents' house, and Ryan came over from where are you?
Cottage Grove.
Got it. Cool.
I think that's southeast of the cities, and you guys are northwest.
Yeah.
Cool.
From Cottage Grove to Maple Grove.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so if it's a little echoey in here right now, it's because we are recording this in my parents' kitchen, and there's not really a better table to do it. So, it is what it is. But, and also, I just want to say to you and to the listeners, I'm gonna have to take a quick pause here pretty soon because I'm doing intermittent fasting right now. So I have like I fast for 16 hours. Like I ate dinner last night at 8:45, and so I haven't eaten anything, and I'm waiting until 12:45. So it's been 16 hours. I'm just doing that for like a week. I've never really tried fasting before, but I'm doing that right now. So cool. In about 10 minutes, we're gonna just take a quick pause, just so you know.
Right. Sounds good to
and
me.
I figured it'd be kind of a fun thing to bring up in the podcast as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, so you have been working on your own project this winter.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Tell you about it. Okay, so let's see. The project is called World Record Jump, and the movie's probably going to be called World Record Jump. We're going to be putting out 3 webisodes and a bunch of like just Instagram content, random little things here and there, clips, maybe a little mini Insta edits and stories and stuff on at World Record Jump.
Instagram?
And, yeah, on Instagram. Yep.
Nice.
And then I think we're going to have like a YouTube channel and a Vimeo channel. And because when you see people out in the streets, random people, they'll ask you like, "Yo, is this going on YouTube or whatever?" And
I got asked that the other day.
Did you? Yeah, I always get asked that. And
yeah.
So we're gonna be making some stickers too that'll just have like directions to where you can see it, like on the back. Die cut stickers is gonna make us some stickers, and
nice.
we'll have like a YouTube channel so like just random people can check it out and whatnot. And
cool.
Yeah, just kind of like a fun sort of like almost sort of like gapery, because like World Record Jump doesn't mean I'm gonna go higher or longer, or like it doesn't really say anything about that jump at all. I'm just gonna be jumping around, jibbing, doing whatever, just snowboarding, having fun.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, you just showed me a little edit of something you guys have been working on, and I really love the approach. It's pure fun. Just weirdness, and you're not trying to prove anything. You're just doing what you like to do, and you can tell you're having a good time. So I think that's super cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, and so there's going to be a couple webisodes, and then like a full-on movie at and that'll come out next year, probably.
Yeah, probably like in the fall. Hopefully, hopefully like the winter will cooperate and we'll get a bunch of snow and can film more.
Yeah, it's been pretty low tide here in the cities.
Yeah, been a little low tide, but me and my filmer, Bryden, also a really great friend, Bryden Boley, he came out, and we just basically took advantage of it. There'll be like a ton of shots in the movie where you might be like, dang, there is no snow there.
Yeah.
Because we were filming literally when there was like 2 inches of snow and just making what we could out of it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Nice. And are you working with any other riders?
Honestly, not like a set rider list. I think we're just kind of free forming it and like letting anyone who wants to come out and stack, like come out and get some stuff. Yeah. Probably also just get riders that are, we have some sponsors of the movie, so maybe get some riders that are on those teams. Bet Metal is one of the sponsors.
Oh, cool.
Zion Snowboards, and then also Sessions is sponsoring it too. So
yeah.
Maybe we'll get clips of you, Mike.
Yeah,
Will,
that'd be sick.
Some of the other guys in there.
Yeah. Cool. And Killer Whales Are Cool. Is that going to be a sponsor too? Probably.
Yeah. Killer Whales and Zany Earth, they might kind of, they'll show a little appearance in there.
Nice. Yeah. Tell the audience about those things.
So Zany Earth is just like a little brand that I've had since 2011. You've maybe seen some of the T-shirts and stuff around. Basically, like a Earth with like flames coming out of the bottom and like rings going around it. Also, kind of the same idea as World Record Jump, just like having fun and goofing off and kind of keeping it zany. And then Killer Whales Are Cool came out of so randomly. I think I was just changing my Instagram handle like every single day one summer. Actually, well, we were living together, me and Jesse, at the Sessions house in Mount Hood, and then one day I changed it to @Killer Whales Are Cool, and everybody loved that. Yeah, it stuck. And then I started drawing these little killer whales like in Adobe Illustrator, and it kind of started to like kindle a little bit of a passion for killer whales and like marine life. And now my Instagram handle is @RyanSubmarine, partially because I like marine life, partially just because I had to stick with something. I don't know. They were like, yeah, stick with something. I'm like, all right, Ryan Submarine. It's going to be that.
Nice.
So, yeah, I don't know. Killer whales, I think they're super cool. Maybe we'll do something with the brand. For now, we're just like making some T-shirts, and I'm posting funny whale memes every now and again.
Yeah. And so the fact that killer whales are cool to you, was that prior to making the Instagram, or has that spawned out of that random decision to make that?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Because like I think they were, but it wasn't like actually.
It wasn't like a thing that you were into?
Yeah. It wasn't like, I wasn't like, oh yeah, killer whales have always been super cool. It wasn't like in my subconscious, or it was in my subconscious. It wasn't like in the forefront of like what I was thinking about all the time. But then, yeah, just randomly like, oh, what am I going to change my handle to today? I was like, haha, Killer Whales Are Cool. And it's funny because now it's a totally different account, Killer Whales Are Cool. But like people will see like the shirts and they say Killer Whales Are Cool on them. And random people will be like, have an epiphany. And they'll be like,
they really are.
You know what? Killer whales are cool.
Sick.
Like I've had multiple people say that same exact sentence to me. And I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Cool, man. And Zany Earth, all the T-shirts and clothing and stuff, that's all just been 100% you.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we maybe had a few kind of like guest designers here and there, but most of the graphics I just do myself on Illustrator.
Cool. And you got a website and stuff?
Yep. Yeah. The website's changed a few times, but now we decided to group it all together and
changing the website every day.
Yeah, we change the website every day too. Right now it's www.zanyearthandkillerwhalesare.cool.
Wow.
Like that was actually an option. It was like instead of .com,
cool.
yeah, instead of .com, it could be .cool, and I was like, oh hell yeah!
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah,
so sick. Cool. And you also told me that you were working on a board graphic this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Zion, and you've been doing that for years. Like, for if anybody out there doesn't know, all the Pro Model Ryan Paul Zion boards have been just hand drawn by you, which is super cool. And you're really blessed to have a company that allows you to do that. I don't think many brands would give a rider such freedom. But what kind of do you want to tell us what you're thinking about for this year? Are you kind of saving it, keeping it under the covers?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit, because I think I could tell you a little bit just because I don't know exactly what I'm doing just yet. But so basically this will be, I think, my 7th or 8th Pro Model board with them. But I think my 4th one where I actually did like all the graphics myself. Prior to this, they had a graphic designer. I gave him some ideas, and he would show me some stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh, I like that," and then he'd develop one. And then now, since I've been doing like Illustrator and stuff like that more, I'm getting to the point where like I can kind of make a design on my own. And I've mostly done ones that are just like me basically using Illustrator like it's Microsoft Paint, which I've been told you're not supposed to do because it creates a really huge file when you just make a ton of strokes. Okay. And then when you send it to someone and try to open it up, it's really hard to open up because it's huge.
Yeah, and you use a Wacom tablet, right?
Yeah,
so you're like digitally drawing.
Oh, yeah. So for those who don't know, a Wacom tablet is basically, it's like a tab. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's basically like as if you were just drawing in a notebook, but the pen, everything you draw, it just appears on the screen. Like it's hooked up to your computer with a wire, and it just like shows up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and I've seen you drawing on that thing before, and I've never used one, but it seems kind of crazy to be. You're not looking down at your hand while you're drawing. You're looking at the screen, but you just somehow it works. And
a lot of people tell me that actually. They're like, "Oh, that seems so weird," and I'm like so used to it now that I'm just like, "Oh yeah, it's like even actually like." So my girlfriend has an iPad now, like one of the new ones, and she has one of those programs where you just draw right directly onto the iPad, and she keeps being like, "Hey, check it out. You should use my iPad to do some of your graphics." And I was just like, "No, I don't know. For some reason, I don't like."
You don't like seeing right where you're drawing.
Just like maybe it's because it's a different program. It's not Adobe Illustrator. But yeah. So I don't know this graphic. I'm going back and forth with stuff, back and forth with like the idea of doing the entire thing with like Illustrator in kind of like a paint way, or I scanned in a couple drawings that I just drew by hand on paper, and might put some of those like in a collage on it. The crazy idea, which I might save for later, is like sewing a graphic, because I also sew a lot. But I want to sew like maybe like a crocobear. That's like one of my guys. He's like a crocodile, grizzly bear combined or whatever. Maybe sew like a stuffed crocobear, and then Photoshop that onto the base of a
take
board.
A picture of it.
Or take a picture of it, and
cool.
So I have a lot of ideas. I'm trying to do something a little different, because I've not done the same thing, but they've looked really. I want it to look really different than the last three.
They've all kind of had a similar style to them.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool, I think, to revamp it, try something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And do you have a say in the construction of the board, like the camber and the edge cut, things like that?
Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
So like right when I was gonna get a pro model with them, they were like, "What do you like?" And I had been previously riding for Burton, and they had a board that didn't have like the metal edges around the top, so I would just like completely cut the nose and the tail off of the board. And I thought that looked really cool and was funny. Like I really liked the like squared off nose and tail. So they found me a shape that basically was kind of similar to that, but like more blunted, more of like a squared off nose and tail. And so I got that, and then it's been that shape ever since. I just love that shape, and it has what's called like a combo platter camber, which means it's basically regular camber, but there's like a little bit of a dip in the middle right between the bindings, but the dip doesn't go below the contact points.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like in the middle of the board, it's like a little bit reverse.
Yeah.
And then it goes camber deeper than the reverse started.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try a board like that.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me like it's a really good balance between the two, and you can like really press something out, but that camber on the end is really going to hold you on, so you're not totally looping out. And it definitely looks like a fun board, honestly. Looks super fun.
For sure it is. And also likewise with the Solomon board that you ride, looks really fun too.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's got like a similar overall shape, but I'm guessing
it looks pretty similar.
It's like a regular camber, right?
Yeah, it actually is. It's camber in the middle, and then as soon as it gets to your feet, it's more camber, like the camber increases.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like right at the contact points for like 2 inches, it's like an early rise, but it's basically not.
Yeah.
Just basically like the nose and tail come up before the contact point.
Okay.
Just like an inch or two, like barely.
Yeah, like really, really subtle.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that's a fun board too.
Nice.
So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to take just a really quick pause here.
Cool.
I got to eat some food.
Okay.
We'll get right back into it.
All right.
Okay, we are back, and I have a green smoothie with me, and it is delicious. Feels good to be eating some food after 16 hours. It's not that long. It's not crazy hard to do, but you definitely get a little hungry in the morning. But you were saying that you got like some kind of blender for Christmas, and you've been making green smoothies as well?
Yep, yeah. My girlfriend got me a blender. I think I was asking for one. I can't remember, but oh yeah, you know what I think it was? Ted Borland had one when I was in Utah, and we were just making smoothies every
Yep.
morning, and
Yep.
feeling good, getting all that green stuff in there, and I was like, dude, I want one of those. Those are sick. So yeah, I got one of those, and then I've just been pretty basic right now. Just like banana, almond milk, and just like a ton of greens. Just like a
Yeah.
huge ball of like like the green mix, kale and all that stuff,
Yeah.
arugula, spinach.
Yeah.
Just put that in there, slice it up, and then just like go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever use like a protein powder or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I just ran out, but yeah, I go with the raw Superfoods. They send me some stuff. They're really sick. They have like really good products. So I do their like chocolate protein powder, and then like their green superfood. It's really awesome. And then they also make raw honey, which is really good too. Really good
Nice.
sweetener.
Yeah. I've noticed that that you are involved with them a little bit, and we had some of that stuff when we were at Ted's.
Yeah.
Some of the green or superfood powder stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been super curious about that company. I've been looking into it a little bit and just looking at their products, and it's like really good stuff. Like really, I mean, it's the superfood thing has everything you want, like spirulina and just I can't remember everything, but a really good mixture, and everything's like organic and just it seems like a really cool company. And they even have algae oil, which is like a fish oil supplement, but it's vegan, and it actually apparently is more bioavailable than fish oil even.
Yep.
Which I'm really interested in that because I don't eat that much fish.
Mm-hmm.
I do every once in a while, but apparently if you don't eat it, 2 to 3 times a week or something like that, it's good to take some kind of omega-3 supplement. And there's like vegan omega-3 stuff, but a lot of times that's not as bioavailable as fish oil. But the fact that I don't know how I haven't heard of algae oil until I looked at the company, but then I did a little bit of research, and it seems like that's a really good option for somebody who doesn't necessarily want to have fish oil or doesn't eat that much fish and needs to get those omega-3s. So
yeah, for sure.
Seems like a sweet company.
Yeah, like if you prefer plant-based options, it's kind of cool that something like that is out there.
Yeah, and the protein powder is plant-based as well, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, there's no whey in it.
Yeah.
No way, man. So
yeah. And how did you get involved with them?
So I think I bought some because I saw like they have a sick team. Like they have Neen Williams and Aaron Jaws Hamoki like skate, and those guys are all about it. So I was like, dude, I want to check this stuff out, and I think it's cool that like it's owned and operated by skateboarders. Like it's not just, I don't know, it's a lot cooler than just buying something from like a health store or like not that there's anything bad about that. That's cool too. But, supporting people that are in our industry, I was like, I need to try to maybe get this stuff for free or something. And so I was like, hey, like, I snowboard. Like, would you guys want to hook me up or whatever? And I'll try to help promote what you guys are doing. And they're like, yeah, we could probably, like, throw you something here and there or whatever. So now I'm kind of, I guess, semi-sponsored by them.
Sick.
Working with those guys. And, yeah, I have no problem saying that it's a great product. And it tastes good. I really like it. And I can feel the difference.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I listen to a lot of health podcasts and just like look up I've been really interested lately in just supplements and just green powders and smoothie stuff, everything like that. And so I've looked at a lot of different things, and a lot of stuff that you can get at, a basic grocery store or at Target is either like whey protein or it's got like artificial sweeteners in it, and there's really not that much in it. It's like just protein, but really that's not all you want in something that you put in there.
Yeah.
And then you look at the like super health food stuff, and it's got all that. You see everything, everything's sustainably raised, everything like that. But it's so cool that there's something like that has all the good stuff. It's not just a basic protein powder. It's actually it really is a superfood powder. Yeah. Sustainably raised, everything like that, organic. And it's in the skateboard community, which is so sick.
Yeah, like skate, BMX.
Yeah.
It's actually like founded by two brothers. I don't know how to say their last name. I think it's Mata or something. John Mata, Joey Mata. Sorry if I'm saying your guys' names wrong. But yeah, like I looked into it, and I think John has like just a crazy story of just, you know, being like in our lifestyle and just like doing the things that we all do, like eating crappy food and just like hanging out and
traveling all the time,
and just like constantly going and, you know, maybe partying too or whatever. And then I think he kind of had like somewhat of a mental breakdown or something, and they just realized that he was all like off, like chemically and all that, like just super off. And so he started doing basically like what you're doing, and
just starting to learn and figure things out.
And like I've done a little bit of it too, just research. I think it's pretty much impossible to go through life and not try to like research that stuff a little bit, not to be like kind of curious about like, what is this stuff that you put in your body? What does the things you put in your body produce, you know, like how does it function with you? And he started doing all that and then getting into this, and like basically developed the brand Raw Superfoods. And
and I love how it's plant-based as well, because that just, you know, it widens the audience. You don't like, you don't have to be vegan or even vegetarian or anything, because it has all this stuff that you need regardless of the kind of diet you have, but then it's also compatible with somebody who's vegan or vegetarian. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not like necessarily vegan or vegetarian. I mean, like, I still definitely eat meat. I was for a while. And I was actually going to bring that up. You were one of the first snowboarders that I knew that like went vegan and were really into vegan restaurants and things like that. And that was before I really had ever had any interest in it. And I was just kind of like, a vegan restaurant, I wonder what that would be like. And now I'm like, every time I come across a vegan restaurant, I'm stoked. Like, I love vegan restaurants. Like you and I get together and we're like, okay, like where is the closest vegan restaurant? Like, I want to, you know, and so like, I'm just not like as strict with it. I'm very like, in my mind, I know why I should be vegan. Like, I know why like plant-based food is just way healthier for you or whatever, and it's like a great option. Like, so, and I could go on and on about why that, but I mean, just check out some documentaries or read it or try it. That's the best way, is just try food and see what, you know. But I just kind of, I need to eat, and so I just eat whatever. And I realize that American culture is not very like pro-vegan yet. It's kind of starting to get there,
especially if you're traveling at all. It just becomes so difficult.
Like I go to gas stations all the time. I walked in with like a slushie from a gas station, so and I just like, I like being lenient and just doing whatever. I'm still like a little kid. I like sugar a lot. So but like I'll eat meat every once in a while, but it is nice, like like having a superfood like Raw to just, you know, have something that you can quick and easy put in your body, and it's like fills that void right there. Like that thing that you needed.
I want to get something like that I can bring with me traveling, like maybe even put in like a Ziploc bag or something like that, so I can have a couple doses. Just because sometimes when I'm on the road and filming and things like that, there will be a couple nights where we'll get dinner and I really don't have like any greens and minimal amount of vegetables, because there are, like, when you're in just random towns, a lot of times people just don't eat that many vegetables.
It's just like,
unless you go to the grocery store, which is really hard to do, because half the time we're somewhere where we can't put stuff in the fridge, or like there's no way to cook it. And so I think that's a nice little addition, a great supplement. But and so was there something specifically that first inspired you to get interested in vegan and vegetarianism, or to stop eating meat? Like, was it a documentary, or did you kind of just
I think, I mean, I've always like tried to eat healthy, and we only really have the information that's given to us. So like when I was younger, it was like, all right, what does the food pyramid say? Which it's really hard to fill that bottom line of the food pyramid. That's all like 11 servings of grain. And
that is it's so outdated.
It's for sure. But like I tried to do that because I was like, that's what's healthy, you know?
Yeah.
So when I was younger, you know, like I tried to do that, tried to eat healthy. Plus, like my parents definitely fed me, which was great because they feed me good, you know, make sure I'm fed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like getting older, like I wanted to do the best that I could, and now I know what it was. Okay, when I was like 17, was riding for Burton for like the rep sponsorship program, and my rep, Bobby, his now wife, Mindy, she was a vegan. Yeah,
Cool.
She was a vegan, and she was like also a yoga instructor and really into yoga. And I went over to their house. Like multiple times I'd go over to their apartment, and they'd feed me, and I'd always feel great. Like they'd make me juice, which was like the first time I'd ever had somebody make me juice in a juicer.
Yeah.
And have it like, it wasn't just like orange juice or apple juice. It was like carrot.
It wasn't like sugar filled. It was actually, yeah.
Yeah. And I like specifically remember every time he put the ginger in, he'd hold up the ginger and show it to me, and he'd be like, ginger, it's good for digestion. Like there literally is like 3 to 5 times that he said that same exact thing. Bobby, if you're listening. So I know that ginger is good for digestion.
Yes, it is.
And then like one night I ate over there. They like made a full meal for me, and I just felt great afterwards. I felt like super light and just like really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like the beginning in like the interest in that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, unless you really feel it or try it out, it's hard to really see that it's valid or really understand, like,
for sure.
And
I think even like sometimes if you do, like, it's hard to get the right approach, because sometimes you're like, what do I even eat? Or like,
absolutely.
or you feel like you come in at it from like the approach of like what you can't eat, like, oh, I can't eat meat, I can't eat dairy, and then it's just like you're looking at it like you're only looking at what you can't do instead of like what you can do or whatever. So I think it's one of those things like you really have to kind of educate yourself and figure it out and find something that works for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to be an unhealthy vegan as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You just want a bunch of chips and stuff.
I always tell myself, whenever I've tried to do like the vegan thing but not really care too much about my health, like I'm just like, I'm doing it for the animals.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. At least you can fall back on that one.
I'm just doing it for the freaking animals, man.
Yeah, so, doing it for the planet.
I don't feel good, but these French fries are vegan.
Cool. And so you said that you have some experience with yoga.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you do that on a regular basis?
Not as much as I used to. I did a lot of yoga when I was like 18, 19. I got sober, actually. I got sober, and then I started doing a lot of yoga. I did a lot of Bikram yoga when I was 18.
Let's just rewind it. Let's start there.
Okay.
Tell me about that, about becoming sober.
So sober, you want to hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
We'll start there, and then we'll ease into the yoga.
Those two kind of like went hand in hand a little bit, but when I was like 18, I got this really cool just like opportunity to do online school instead of going to regular school. And then I filmed a bunch of snowboarding that winter.
No, so that's like senior year, high school?
Yeah, that was like senior year. And then kind of like around that time, I just started. I mean, I was in high school, like I'll just dabble in with like weed and alcohol and, maybe some pills kind of here and there, which is not really smart at all.
Yeah.
The whole pill thing, especially.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't know that.
It all when you're in high school though, it's all just everything's just drugs. So you can't really differentiate like that pills would be so much worse than weed or whatever.
Yeah, like in my mind, it went like weed and alcohol like kind of in the same group. Like pills maybe a little bit worse, mushrooms whatever. Like LSD probably worse than that, and then like ecstasy, coke, like all that stuff was like the harder drugs that I was like definitely planning on staying away from it. So
for
like,
sure.
I quit like before I would have gotten into that stuff because I just saw it like progressing and myself just becoming more of just like a pothead and like more of like not really a drinker because I couldn't really get my hands on alcohol at the time. It wasn't like convenient, like I drink on the weekends, but then it's like smoke weed every day or whatever. And that's actually kind of what also turned me on to just trying to become fully sober and just abstain from drugs and alcohol altogether. Was because I sort of found myself in this gray area. And this doesn't happen to everyone, but it sort of happened for me. It was like I didn't feel like I had a good personality or I wasn't as comfortable without that stuff, without those substances. And I like didn't really like that. Like I thought maybe I was becoming a little bit like dependent, either like socially or chemically or whatever, but like kind of dependent on that stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think at the time it scared me more, you know, because I was like a younger kid or whatever. Now I just look at it as like, you know, every action has a reaction. Like if I put something in my body, it's going to have some sort of an effect on me. And so,
Yep.
so yeah, I got a little bit of help with it. I did like an outpatient thing and kind of learned about how that works and, you know, and like different programs. There's different programs for that stuff too, if you want to have like support groups and things like that. But yeah, so for most of my adult life, I've been pretty much sober, which is like 10 years now. But I mean,
Wow.
I haven't been sober the whole. Like,
well,
but, you know, like you've seen me drink a beer and
Yeah.
stuff. For right now, for the last 3 years, I've had no like alcoholic beverages. So
Nice.
I've had like non-alcoholic beers, which maybe has like a little bit of alcohol.
Yeah.
It's more of like a pacifier than anything. But I'm trying to just like abstain from like alcohol and like I don't smoke weed. I think it's funny that I actually used to like that because every time in my adult life that I've ever gone back to it, like it made me really paranoid.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I like this stuff? You know, like for me, it's weird.
No, I feel it. I feel like as soon as you kind of get out of really using it a lot, it just becomes like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like for me, you know, I'll get high every once in a while, but I don't. I really don't like. I don't like getting super high. Like
Yeah,
it's just
weird.
when I was in high school, I did every once in a while, and it was like something that I like to do. But yeah, you just kind of change and
yeah, for sure.
And two things I want to touch on real quick. I think it's super inspiring and impressive that you kind of noticed in yourself that wasn't the path you wanted to go on at such a young age. Like that, I feel like that's really hard for people to, you know, see themselves that way and notice that they're like, oh, I'm maybe not my best self when I'm doing this kind of stuff. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I think actually like snowboarding had a little bit to do with that too, because like, you know, like I would like smoke weed before I'd go snowboard, so I just kind of calm my nerves and just be like sort of in the zone and stuff. And I would do that like before a competition and then just freaking kill the competition, you know, like kill it. And then I was like, but then I like wake up the next morning and be like, dude, like I needed to do that to like do well in the contest. Like it just didn't feel that cool, you know?
Got it.
So that's what made me want to kind of try to either quit completely or mellow it out or whatever.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think that some people may or may not be surprised that you've been sober for a while, and especially having pretty much no alcohol in the last 3 years. Like you don't really brand yourself as being a sober person, and you don't bring it up. And it's very, you know, I've spent a lot of time with you, and it's never like, you're never like, oh, I don't drink, or, oh, you know, it's just kind of how you are, which I think is super cool. That's just the way you live.
Yeah. So I definitely like wear it on my sleeve a lot less and less these days. I think right when I got sober, when I was younger, I think I was maybe a little bit more like tell everyone about it.
I think you almost have to, because when you almost have to justify it.
Yeah,
well, at
for
least,
sure.
I mean, I don't know, because I've never decided to just go fully sober, but I can imagine that if I was doing it, at least initially, I you know, telling people about it would help me to be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I need people to know so that,
yeah, so
know?
like people can kind of like keep you accountable, or just like won't try to like get you to drink or something. And which is weird, because it's like when I wasn't even old enough to like purchase alcohol or like consume alcohol, that's when it was like the hardest and like the most peer pressure or whatever. And, like, now it's like nobody even cares, really,
for sure.
You know, like people leave me alone if I don't, you know, like want to drink something, you know, it's not a big deal. Who cares? It's like, but back then it was like so much like peer pressure, and like people almost, I mean, like that I remember. There's definitely people that were cool with it too, but I specifically remember like a few times where people were like, what, you're drinking like an Arizona iced tea? Well, like all of us are drinking something alcoholic, like that's got like high fructose corn syrup in it, man. That's even worse or whatever. And I was like, whatever, dude. I just want to drink this, man. Leave me alone.
That's super funny.
Yeah, but it's gotten easier, I think.
Yeah. And then did this whole like, living that way, do you think that had a big contribution to kind of wanting to be healthy and, eventually being open to changing your diet and like getting into yoga and things like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like yoga went hand in hand with it because I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna use drugs or drink or whatever. Like I'm gonna be clean and sober, and I also want to be like really healthy. And that was like early 20s. I did a lot of hot yoga, a lot of Bikram yoga, and I wanted to do like really well in competitions, like snowboard rail jams and stuff like that. And so that was like my goal was like, all right, I'm gonna be like really focused on like doing things that help my body to like function at its best, and then I'm just gonna try to like win all these competitions. Because I also wanted to like prove to myself that I like didn't need to put something in my body like that or whatever to I mean, also disclaimer, like if you smoke weed, like cool,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not judging you at all
passing
here,
judgment.
So for myself,
everybody's got their own journey.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to be was.
Yeah. And you have won a lot of contests.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like what did you notice that? I mean, I know there was one period of time where you were seemed like you were winning everything. Was that after you started to really focus on being healthy and doing yoga and everything?
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely like right in that period where I was doing a bunch of yoga and
nice.
Just like really, like I was focusing on my health way more than I am right now. I was, drinking like a ton of coconut water. I think
nice.
Honestly, like the money that I made in competitions, I just spent on like more coconut water and like health foods and stuff. I was always just like trying to get the next thing that I could put in my body that would like help me to get that edge, above
totally.
everyone else. And so, but I mean, I did, I did pretty good for a while. I'm very happy with what I did. It's been a minute since I've actually won a competition. It's probably been like 2 years, but that's cool. I'm still having fun snowboarding, and I'm kind of, turning the page, maybe going into a different chapter now. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're always changing.
Exactly.
And so how often do you do yoga these days?
Probably just once, once in a blue moon kind of thing. Yeah, just try to get in here and there, go and actually drop in on a class. And I have a mat, I don't have a towel. I used to have all like the gear that I needed, and so now I just kind of like maybe stretch every once in a while and
roll around
roll around the fireplace. That's a new thing this week. So cool. Just kind of changing it up.
For me, I've had a lot of experience with yoga. There will be times where I'm
Kundalini, right?
Yeah. Love Kundalini. I actually brought it up in Ethan's podcast. Definitely one of my favorite types of yoga. It's not super common. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find a class, but I haven't really been going to classes lately. I don't know why. I've just been busy with other stuff and focusing on other things, but I've had enough experience with yoga that I in the morning sometimes I will just lay down my mat and just kind of go through some poses that I feel like my body needs. Like I know different ways and different things to do that I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like I really want to do some spinal movement today, or like my lower back is sore, so I'll do like a lot of child's pose stuff, and then obviously get some of the basics in there, like cat cow and the downward dog, and just like a simple little flow. But I feel like just listening to my body, and that's the way that it's merged with my life best. Partially because I can't really afford to go to a yoga class all the time.
Seriously.
And so that's kind of where it fits best for me. And then every once in a while, I've actually really been watching a decent amount of. There's this girl on YouTube called Adrienne.
Oh yeah,
Yoga with Adrienne.
Yeah, it's I did one of hers one time. She had like the yoga for skaters or something.
Yeah, she has like one for surfers too, or like all. It's cool because she has a bunch of different types of videos. Like there's videos that you can watch one every day for 30 days. There's beginner stuff. There's more advanced stuff. Some flow things. Some for strength. And then there's a lot of videos that are very specific, like. Yoga for low back pain, yoga for your shoulders, yoga for relaxation, yoga for focus, and all these different things. And I just think that she's super easy to listen to and really
Yeah.
just a really mellow instructor, and the videos are nice. So
Yeah.
that's when I'm feeling like I want to do a class. I won't even usually go to a class. I'll just put that on the TV and do that.
For sure.
You know, I don't know. Once I start making a little more money, maybe I'll get like a membership. But it's like in the summer I was climbing, and so my membership, I had a membership there, and it's not like I'm going to pay that and then pay a bunch of money to go to yoga classes as well. And they had yoga classes there, but they were kind of like, it wasn't like a dedicated yoga place.
Like some like, here's the yoga on the side.
Yeah. It's like pretty much just so that they can say you get free yoga if you get a membership.
Yeah, and it's like, as a person who's done yoga a lot and like knows good yoga, you're like, I'm not gonna go to that. Like that's some B grade crap.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so, do you do anything else? You say you stretch. Do you roll out or do anything else for recovery?
Yeah, sometimes I'll like roll out. Yeah, just like your basic stuff, I guess. I mean, sometimes I'll ice if I like really am hurting, or take like an ice bath even sometimes, which I haven't done yet this year because I haven't been in that much pain. But I do remember like last year I did like one of these contests that was around here. And then the next day I was going to meet up with some guys to like go film a spot. And I was just like pulling myself off my deathbed that morning.
Oh, no.
Because I went so hard the day before. And so then I took like an ice bath. And after that, I felt great.
Nice.
So
cool.
I think that's probably, I was reading some article with like a skateboard physical therapist. And he was saying like, yo, you don't just like brush your teeth when you have a cavity. Like, you brush your teeth every day. Like, you should be icing, like, every time after you go skateboarding. And I was like, that's crazy. But also, I see what your point is there.
Yeah. That's interesting. I have heard varying opinions on icing in different situations. And I think there's definitely a time and a place for it, but I just don't know exactly what that is.
I don't either.
Because,
that's why I hardly do it.
Yeah, but I like to get some cold submersion every once in a while. Like, I took a cold shower yesterday.
Yeah, those are nice.
It's good to do every once in a while, especially when you really need to wake yourself up, or those mornings where you feel super sore.
Yeah.
That'll definitely kind of jolt you into place, and I feel like it is good for just blood circulation.
They say that for sure. Yeah, I was doing cold showers for a while, like a couple summers ago.
Nice.
Every shower I took was completely cold. I'd even like wash.
That's hard to do, man.
Yeah, and I was doing it. I was like, this is the way, know. This is the truth, man. Cold showers.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Now I just do like a hot shower, and then it's just like, if I'm feeling it at the end, I'll turn it on cold for like a minute or something.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, a good way to do that is apparently, if you're going to do the variation, it's good to start cold, go warm, and then end cold.
Okay.
And that's a little bit of like hot cold therapy, and it also, because then you kind of get that, you flush everything out when you're cold at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you warm it up and it brings everything in, and then you flush it all out again with the cold, and then when you get out, you kind of warm up, and so it's good for the back and forth blood circulation, and it feels great when you do, like, you're in there for a minute or a couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes or so. Yeah. And you're like, oh, it's so cold. And then you turn on the heat, and then that's when you can like wash yourself, wash your hair, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. And then going back to cold is so easy. It's like so once you're warmed up, like,
it's not a big deal to just like pop it back to cold real quick. Yeah.
So that's a good thing to try.
Huh, yeah, I'll have to try that.
Another thing in the realm of cold stuff, I don't remember where I heard it, but at some point I heard that a really good way to wake up in the morning is to put your feet in something cold. And I woke up this morning and I was feeling super sleepy. I stayed up pretty late last night with a friend. We were like playing Nintendo Switch and just kind of like messing around. But yeah, I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? This feels like a morning that I need to do that. And so first thing, I just walked downstairs after I did my meditation and just walked out in the snow in my bare feet and stood there for like a minute in the snow.
Really?
And it was, it was definitely jarring, but I felt, it feels almost like half a glass of coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Like right in the morning. So
yeah.
If you're interested in trying other things.
Yeah, I might have to try that. I think, like a week ago or something, I went and we have this compost like out in the backyard where we just put all the like banana peels and stuff like that. I was like, I'm just going to run out there. I think I was just in my boxers actually. So I was just like
Nice.
barefoot, like in my boxers. Probably all my neighbors could see me, but I was like, yeah, this is great. This is like good for me. I'm getting cold. My
Yep.
feet are freezing.
Yep. Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was in my boxers as well this morning.
Yeah.
So if anybody was looking out the window, they're definitely like, what is this dude doing? I just walk out in the snow, stand there for a second in my boxers and bare feet, and then walk back inside.
Hey, it might be interesting to someone.
Yeah. So your parents have a compost pile.
Yeah, they do.
That's super cool.
Yeah. They also have a garden too, so they just like save up everything all winter or whatever.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, mash it all together and then fertilize the garden with it.
Wow, that's awesome. Dude, I want to get into that so bad. But I'm kind of waiting until, I buy a house or something like that to really, really get in on it. But I mean, it's absurd that at this point I still haven't like done anything with composting. Like, it's so easy to do, and I'm still just like throwing stuff away. So maybe when I get back home, I'll start the compost. But
I like to rationalize that even if it goes in the garbage, like it's gonna go.
Yeah, it'll decompose somewhere.
Yeah, like maybe it'll decompose in that landfill, and like maybe help all the other stuff become decomposable. I don't know, probably not. But
dude, apparently there's a fungus that can decompose garbage.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's very well known yet.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a recent discovery or something, but I heard about it from Paul Stamets. He's like one of the most famous mycologists, which is a mycologist is the study of fungi.
Oh,
and
sweet.
I mean, you want to hear some crazy shit and listen to his episode with either Joe Rogan or the Tim Ferriss show. His conversations are insane. He discovered penicillin. Mm-hmm. He's pretty much single-handedly saving the bees.
Oh, sweet.
In a way that I won't get into, but you'll hear it in the podcast.
Yeah.
One of those if you go to it. And like I said, it can decompose garbage and just all this crazy stuff about fungi, but that's a different topic.
But
anyways, yeah.
I do have one other thing that's I was trying to think of things that like was relatable that maybe I do. And I recently started checking out like probiotics or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm totally sold on them yet, but I've been taking like probiotics and trying to like help have a healthier gut. I think.
Yeah.
I think, because right now I'm just in this like weird funk or phase where I'm like, I kind of care about my health, but at the same time I want to eat whatever I want or like, drink a slushie or whatever and just go snowboard and have fun and be like a little kid kind of. But I was like starting to feel like my gut was like kind of whatever, feeling kind of weird or whatever. And then my girlfriend was like, you should try all these probiotics. Like I took them a couple years back and like it really helped. And so I started like doing research and I don't know, maybe whether it was like placebo effect or what it was, but now my belly feels a lot better actually.
Yeah. I mean, there is definitely probiotics are super important and, a good way that you can get that is fermented foods like kimchi and
I'll eat that all day.
And
kombucha,
Greek yogurt, even like fermented cabbage or like sauerkraut. I think maybe not.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's super, super important. And there's actually a lot of stuff being done these days of like how important it is to have a healthy gut. Like it affects your mental state, your concentration.
There's like a nerve that
all
comes
kinds
up
of different diseases. Yeah, absolutely. It's like the connection between your gut and your brain is very strangely linked.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's something I need to learn more about because I don't know how much you should be having or like if supplements are the better way or if you should just eat a lot of fermented foods or a lot of kombucha. But I always pretty much, if I'm, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 times a month, I'll drink kombucha or have something like that. Just so I'm always kind of getting a little something, but it'd be interesting to learn a little bit more about that. I've even been hearing about prebiotics lately too, which
I've heard a little bit about those.
I don't know much about that either, but I think the gut is like a whole new frontier in
for sure
in health.
Totally.
And I know there's some good books out there right now that are on my list, so that's cool.
The book list.
Yeah. Probably I think I have like 30 books on there.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm
like,
ever
we'll
going to
see
read
if I
them
have
all.
time for that.
Yeah. Do you read much?
Not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I don't have to read right now, so I don't.
Yeah, I think that's how most people are.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like to think that I read a lot, but I really don't.
They say it's smart too, and I could see. I mean, I've read like a few things in the last month now, just like kind of dabble in some books that I have laying around, and just you know, even just like seeing someone write like a different word that you don't normally use. I think that like really adds something, because I think like words are really powerful, and like noise and everything, speech, like it's really like it actually means a lot, and like that's why like vocabulary and all that stuff like is really important and powerful. So it's interesting. Sometimes I'll read and I'll be like, wow, like this is almost just as important as like the foods that I'm eating, or like the stuff, you know, like this is probably just as important as like every other thing that I do that I think is maybe healthy for me, is like maybe reading something good.
Yeah, brain food.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. And you just can learn so much. And it's funny that you say that, because I wasn't reading, but this morning in my like guided meditation app that I use, he said something, and he said the word esoteric. And I know I've heard that word a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe it's embarrassing for me to say that I don't know exactly what it means.
I don't either.
Yeah. But I was kind of like, I've heard that word a lot, and he just used it in this context. Maybe I should know this word. Like, and now I actually kind of want to add that to my vocabulary and maybe like use the word esoteric. It sounds cool.
It's a cool sounding word. Esoteric.
It's definitely one of those things that if you say it around your homies, smart. People would be kind of like, okay, what are you trying to prove? But still.
I think somebody said, someone said paradox a long time ago to me, and I was like, what does that mean? You know, like I think I was 19 or something. I was like, well, you just ended the conversation.
That's funny.
Like, I don't know, but I mean, now I know what a paradox is.
Yeah.
But,
good.
You know. So, yeah.
Cool.
Vocab.
Got a lesson here. Cool. Well, so I want to move to a slightly different topic. Have you ever really gotten into strength training or working out or anything else that that you're kind of working on your fitness that isn't skating or snowboarding?
Isn't skating or snowboarding? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, right now I have like a gym membership.
Cool.
So you know, I'll go to the gym every once in a while and just kind of do some stuff, do like ab workouts and stair steppers and run, you know, like run on the treadmill, things like that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of things here and there. I probably could get a little bit more into it. Maybe, you know, get like a physical trainer one of these, you know, like one of these summers or something like that.
It's definitely worth trying out. You're probably going to hate it.
Yeah, that's
because
the thing.
They work the shit out of you. And I kind of hated it, but I learned some things. And added to my very shallow knowledge base of working out, but you know, it's something, because that's, I mean, I've said in the podcast a few times, it's hard for somebody. I've never really gotten into working out like my whole life. Yeah. And every time I try to get into it, I just am so overwhelmed. I don't know what the hell to do.
Especially lately. I used to be really good at it. Like when I was younger, I don't know if my attention span was more there or I had more like goals kind of in focus, but every time I'd go work out, I would just like treadmill or like elliptical bike for an hour, and now I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm bored of this. Like, this is, you know, and maybe it's just like routines and things you've already done, and I think what maybe I want to start doing is maybe swimming or maybe like underwater swimming around. Like that's not really a workout that much, but I like scuba diving. I've done it a handful of times. I know that's probably not actually a workout really, but I want to try to start doing things that I haven't done before, because I think that's where my weakness lies right now, is that like all those things I've done. Like I've done yoga, I've worked out at the gym.
Yep.
I've done all these things and had like the goal of like winning snowboard competitions in mind and stuff. And now I feel like I'm just like kind of turning the page into like maybe a different and sort of in this like medium right now where I'm just kind of goofing off and snowboarding for fun, trying to feel like a little kid again and stuff. And do stink bug grabs and stuff like that. But I feel like maybe in the next like year or two, I'm gonna find something new that like really sparks my interest, and that'll be like my new workout. Like maybe it'll be scuba diving, or maybe
you can swim with the whales.
That's hopefully that'd be sick. Yeah.
Even though something like scuba diving wouldn't be exercise in the traditional sense, I think anything that you are going to put yourself where you're in a totally different bodily awareness is great mental training. Like I really attribute all the hours I put in swimming last summer to just having a better understanding of my bodily awareness and just connecting to it in a different way. Because when, if all you're doing is, walking around and running and snowboarding and skating, like you know how to use your body in those ways, and they just become so ingrained and so habitual that you're not really having these new neuromuscular connections to your brain. And this is just kind of a theory that I'm ranting off. But I think, something like scuba diving, you have to exist in space in a different way and move around in a different way, feel gravity in a different way. Like that's got to help with your overall, sense of your body and just how it works in space and your biomechanics, everything like that. Yeah,
for sure. It's like exercising your brain.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know how to like level out, because I don't know if anyone knows this, but when you scuba dive, like you're basically, you have like these big like balloons basically on your back, kind of, that you add air into and take air out of, so that
that's right.
So you can stay like in one place. Otherwise you're going to sink to the bottom or you're going to float to the top, but you want to be like right there, I don't know, 10 feet above or 2 feet above the bottom, checking out the ocean reef or whatever you're checking out. And so even just trying to figure out how to like get the right, like, air in there. And even like when you breathe through, I think it's called the regulator. Sorry, I need to freshen up on this. I'm certified.
It's okay. I'm sure most of the people listening have not scuba dived, so
yeah. I'm trying to explain something that I do like every once in a while, but yeah. So like it's just a whole different thing, and then it's really fun being underwater. It's like being out in outer space. Like
it's a different whole nother world, dude. It's insane.
You've done stuff.
I've gone scuba diving once, and it was not a great experience at all.
Did you puke through your regulator or something?
No. But we went 40 feet, so we were deep, and I was in Mexico.
Okay.
This sounds so stupid, but I was in Mexico on vacation with my parents, and I had gotten pretty drunk the night before. So first of all, I wake up, I'm hungover, I kind of feel like shit, kind of like, ugh. And then we're like, okay, we're going scuba diving today. And I had never done it, but they teach you how to use the equipment in the pool, which the pool was like 4 feet deep. So you're really not like, you're getting under there and you're feeling it out, but it's really like, this isn't real training for about to go 40 feet deep. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But anyways, we're doing that. The woman who was teaching us has this crazy Australian accent that I can barely hear half the words she's saying. And I'm also hungover, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I think I'm getting this. And then she's telling us how dangerous it is, because you can't just like, if something happens, you can't just go straight up. You have to. You have to go up like 5 or 10 feet at a time.
And you gotta like blow
pop your ears or whatever. Otherwise you can blow your eardrums. And so all this stuff, I'm kind of like, okay, this is gonna be kind of crazy, but I think it'll be cool. And she's like, don't touch anything, like absolutely don't touch anything, because it's damaging to the environment. You never know things that are gonna like hurt you or anything like that. And so finally we're doing it. We get in there and we start going under and under, and already I'm feeling like pretty claustrophobic. Just because it's so different to have, when you're breathing, to have it out of like a.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling.
Like
breathing underwater out of like a weird tube hose thing.
Yeah, it's not like you're freely breathing, like you're sucking your breath. And so already I'm kind of like, oh, this is a little crazy, but it's all good. And then I get to the bottom, and nobody told me that when you breathe in and out, you vary. Like when you breathe in, you go up, and you breathe out, you go down. So I'm like really close to this thing, and I go down. like I breathe out and I like sink in it and I touch it and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh shit, I touched it. Like, what's going on? And it was fine. Like nothing happened. But then I was just kind of like, oh, I don't really like this. I kind of feel sick. And so I don't know. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like what I saw down there, it really is like we're doing everything up here, and then they're just living their life doing everything down there as if we don't
even exist.
Exactly,
like up here is their water, up here is their underwater.
It's so wild. But so that was my experience.
Dude, I have a story. Okay, so I'm like certified now. I think I have a level 2 or whatever. But so when I went to do my like certification test, I went underwater and there's probably like 10 students trying to get their certification. You all go in a big circle and there's one instructor and he's testing you on stuff. So you go up to the top, he tells you what the drill is, and then you go down and he goes one by one, goes in the circle and like basically asks you to do the thing that he wants you to do. And so this particular test was like the what if your regulator falls out of your mouth test. Oof. And like how do you reach for your backup regulator and clear it? Again, just to refresh everyone, the regulator is the thing that you breathe out of, and there's also a backup regulator that you can grab for if that regulator falls out of your mouth, because you can't breathe underwater without it. So he basically is like, all right, we're going to go down there. I'm going to test you guys individually, one-on-one or whatever. And you're basically just going to take your hand, grab your regulator, pull it out of your mouth, blow bubbles, because I guess that's what you're supposed to do. And then you're going to do this like swooping motion with your right hand, with your right arm, and grab your backup regulator and put that in your mouth, press the button that clears it of all the water, and then start breathing out of that. Sounds simple, scary as heck, like so scary. I get under there, it comes to me, I take the thing out of my mouth, start breathing bubbles, and I'm starting to like swoop my right arm trying to find this backup regulator. I swoop it like 3 times. It's like, I don't know, you lose track of time, 5 to 10 seconds of just blowing bubbles. Can't take a breath, can't find my backup regulator anywhere. And he sees that I'm freaking out. We're face to face, me and the instructor. He grabs his backup regulator, or maybe it was his actual regulator that was in his mouth. I don't know. Gives it to me. I forget to clear it.
Oh, you suck in the water.
Oh, yeah, so it was his backup regulator. I forget to clear it. Get this huge lungful of water before I get any air.
No,
and it was horrifying. It was so scary. I was just like, literally thought I was going to drown. I mean, I was, I was kind of like in the back of my mind, I was like, well, if I drown, they'll just, bring me back to the surface and hopefully resuscitate me. But this is going to be bad.
Yikes, dude.
I don't know.
That is like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that he passed me after that. Like, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, you don't want to do that in real time.
Yeah, like I basically failed. I mean, every time ever since that, I'm like always remembering that experience, and I don't trust myself, so I just hold on to my regulator.
Maybe that's why he passed you, because you had such a bad experience that you're not going to forget that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or you're not going to just suck in when you grab a regulator. Like you're going to clear it, because that was so traumatizing.
It was traumatic. It was traumifying, man. It was
Speaking of vocabulary,
a lot of scary words put into one word all at once.
Oh boy!
So,
wow, that's a great story.
So yeah, that's me scuba diving, just hanging tough, man.
Cool. Okay, so is there anything that we talked about some health stuff, we talked about some fitness. Is there anything that really centers you, or anything that you do on a daily basis, or anything that really just makes you happy, something that your life wouldn't be the same without?
Well, I pray. I don't do that every day, but I pray sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that helps, and whatever like your higher power is, I think even just to like take a minute and, take some deep breaths and kind of like set some intention, or like just talk, even if it's just to yourself. I think maybe that's prayer or whatever, but I think that I don't think my life would be quite the same without that. I don't know if like, I definitely like will go a long time without, and like then realize like, oh, I haven't like just sat and like prayed for a while or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, I mean, everyone's different and cool,
Yeah.
cool. Like you do you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dang, I can't believe like some people don't do this at all or
Huh.
any form of this, because I feel like kind of off when I don't do it or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's really interesting.
So I think that's maybe like one thing that I
Yeah, absolutely. That's
kinda
super cool.
semi-regularly.
Nice. And when you do that, are you I mean, I'm sure it's different every time, but are you maybe being grateful for the things that are in your life, or are
Yeah,
you praying for
sometimes.
hopeful things, or praying for certain people that you love, or just kind of all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely all over the place. It's more like either sometimes I'm thankful or like sometimes I'm just venting. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like anyone. I'm prone to being ungrateful and being
Oh, absolutely.
bitter and angry and mad. And sometimes I'm praying like, yo, God, like take away this really strong resentment that I have for such and such a person, because it's like they don't deserve that, and I'm just killing myself by having this like crazy resentment for someone. And so sometimes it's like that, or sometimes it's just me like just pissing and moaning a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it is like me being hyped and being like happy, like thank you for blessing me. Like right now it's really sunny out, and that's awesome. Like that's something to be thankful for in and of itself. When I was on my way over here, I was like listening to some like Chance the Rapper, and he's got like some pretty good songs that are like kind of like praise type songs or whatever.
Oh, cool.
I was like singing some of those songs, and
Nice.
like, just like it's like kind of weird because like when you think of like God or like church or whatever, like you maybe almost think of like weird, sad, like worshipy sounding music depending on like what your experience is. But his is like his is pretty sick actually.
Oh, yeah. I
pretty
love
cool.
Chance the Rapper.
Yeah,
for
Chance
sure.
is sick.
He's cool.
So
That's awesome, man.
yeah, so that's one of the things.
Yeah, I have read that gratitude is the quickest way to happiness. And so any way you can get in, just kind of taking a step back and, being grateful for the things that are in your life, or like you said, even just venting and getting out some of the negativity. You're doing that with the intention of releasing that negativity.
Yeah.
And anywhere you can have some kind of outlet like that, I think is paramount to living a good life.
Yeah, like I was listening to Grendy's Chris Grendy's podcast with you, and he was talking about how him and his girlfriend do like that. Write down 3 things that you're grateful or thankful for, and I was like, damn, that's a good idea, man. Like every morning, start with some sort of intention, and I think I should do that more often.
I know, I as well. Me too. There's so many different things that I want to incorporate in my life, and that one hasn't made it in yet. But I definitely want to do that because, it's so easy to forget.
Yeah.
So easy to forget like how great your life actually is when you're getting caught up on the little stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But
definitely, it's crazy that we're even just sitting here like talking to each other.
Yeah, I mean, even I like the fact that I can practice something like fasting, where
that's really cool.
I can not eat calories when calories are present. Because that's a survival mechanism, is to eat when there's food. Mm-hmm. But I'm so blessed that I can choose not to eat food.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people in the world that don't have that
that's
luxury.
Like a very luxurious choice, and I'm sorry that there are so many people in the world that don't have that choice, but I'm very grateful to have an opportunity like that. And it's something so simple that you don't think about until you take a step back.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you ever do any kind of meditation?
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Not really as much as I used to, or like in the same ways that I used to. Actually, last night I was snowboarding, and I was like, I'm just going to do this weird kind of like snowboard meditation where I'm just going to basically board slide everything and then go up the rope and then just breathe and just kind of be breathing and be like kind of recentering myself and just, sort of meditating in that way. Because I know that like a lot of meditation is like you sort of try to let your mind go blank a little bit, or you meditate and focus on something positive. I mean, too often these days I'm not slowing down enough to really do that. I definitely need to just sit sometimes and meditate. But yeah, sometimes I'll do like just like a sort of like a moving meditation, even or like when I'm driving, I'll just like turn the radio off and just be like sitting there and breathing, and then things come to my mind, and then I think for me that's kind of like meditating a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that you don't need to be meditating in the traditional sense to kind of get the benefits out of just, you know, taking what is, not letting your mind race like crazy, or at least if it is, just like being aware that your mind is racing like crazy. Like that's a step. That's meditation in itself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then that's cool that you do that snowboarding. I actually do that. I try to do it pretty much every time before I'm hitting a pretty scary spot. Before I hit it for the first time, I like close my eyes and I just breathe, and I'm like, okay, what's going through my mind right now? And I kind of like go through the motions of the actual trick in my mind. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, my heart is beating. I'm a little bit riled up. And I just notice all the bodily sensations. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, okay, this is the body that I'm experiencing right now. And I even, you know, I've learned to accept nerves as like your body preparing. Yeah. Even before a speech or something like that. Like I presented an award at Riders Pole, and right before I went up there, I was like really nervous, and I was like, okay, wait a second. And I like took a couple deep breaths, and I'm like, okay, all these nerves that I'm feeling, this is my body like preparing itself to do something scary. Like that's a positive thing. And when you can like really accept it as that, and you just noticing what's happening in your body, it is very empowering. And then you're not going up there at the throes of like whatever is going through your mind, and you're just being pulled all around. You're like, okay, I'm feeling a little crazy right now, and that's okay. Like I'm using these nerves to my benefit. Yeah. So,
dude, that's a trip. Like I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be, maybe, who knows, but I'm just like, dude, going up there in front of basically all of your favorite snowboarders from all time and like giving an acceptance speech. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I will say that having a podcast has trained my speaking voice, because in a way this is a live performance. Like, for sure. You know, I can go back and edit certain things, but a lot of it kind of just comes out. And so when I was up there, I'm just like, it's just, you know, you're just talking to people just like you are on the podcast. Yeah. Just let it out, you know, and
and I think that a little bit of like preparation before those kind of things is definitely really important, especially like with spots and like hitting street stuff. It's like, I mean, I don't know if you're like this, but like sometimes I like look back on things that I've done and I'm like, how did I even do that?
Dude,
like
all the time.
That wasn't me.
All the time.
And then people will like come up to you and be like, dude, like you're that. And I'm like, I'm not that guy right now, man. I'm just some guy wearing some cool clothes maybe or something, you know. But then, you know, you'll remind it, and then you go back through that thing and you're like, okay, like what was with that day? Like what was going through my head? What did I do? And how did I calm my nerves and get ready to do this like amazing thing?
Yeah, this thing that there's shots that I've gotten in the past that now, like when you're separated from it and you look at it, you're like, dude, I don't know if I would do that again. Like if I went to that spot today and I hadn't done that in the past, I don't know if I'd do it. Yeah. But then you're also probably going to do that exact same thing, and then in the future feel the same way. Yeah. Because you just like get in this animalistic space where you're like, I'm about to do this crazy thing. Sure, like dude. You're pushing yourself, and I don't know. You definitely are a different person at those moments. Like totally like. I don't know. My body feels crazy. Dude. And also, like what you're saying, like that wasn't me. I had a very profound experience. I think it was a directly from my meditation practice that I've been getting into lately. Just with meditation, you kind of learn to understand where your ego comes from, and like that your ego isn't necessarily grounded in your head. And like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of strange, but like consciousness itself, it's a really strange thing. But anyways, I was hitting this spot the other day, and all of a sudden I realized that I wasn't really, if this makes sense, I wasn't really doing the trick. It was just kind of happening. Like, it's not like I was thinking about where my board was going to turn and how I was going to jump on it and how I was going to jump off, everything like that. I was just like dropping in, and I was like, oh, Like my body knows how to do this. I'm not actively telling my legs to go in these crazy positions in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so
for
it was
sure.
kind of like I almost was observing myself as I was doing it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Kinda like-
And that's kind of some of the practice I've been really focusing on in meditation is just.
Sounds like an
Does that
out of
make
body
sense?
experience.
It was an
almost.
out of body experience. I
Yeah.
felt like I was looking down at myself as I was hitting the spot, and I've never had something like that happen before. So I don't know. It's got to be from the meditation. I don't know what else would have all of
Yeah.
a sudden made me, because it wasn't like a super scary spot or anything. Maybe that's the thing, is because I didn't have to focus super hard
Yeah.
on staying safe.
Mm-hmm.
That I was just kind of in a flow state, and
Yeah.
it was really interesting.
It's nice when you don't have to focus on staying safe.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know. Oh, that's my phone.
Whoop.
Sorry, everybody.
Who could it be?
It's my mom.
Some calls
But-
on my phone too. Cool.
You just got a call too?
No, I think I got a text and a call.
Yeah.
Missed call from some random number that I don't recognize. And Bryden texted me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Is Bryden still around?
He is in Utah right now.
Nice.
Yeah, he's dotting I's and crossing some T's with some work that he's doing out there with like a hiking company, hiking
Cool.
store. And then he also owns a tiny home.
Yeah.
That he is currently moving off of one property and putting on another property.
Oh, nice.
So he's just kind of, he's doing
Staying
that, which
busy.
is, it's kind of a good, convenient time to do that anyway, because we got after it really early and filmed for like 3 weeks while there was good snow here in the cities. And then I realized that I lost all my tricks and I wasn't good at snowboarding anymore. And so then
That'll happen.
yeah, and then I was like, going snowboarding at the resorts, and now I'm like getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm good at this. Actually, I can, like most of my tricks are coming back, and I'm more comfortable. So, being apart from the filmer and just focusing on my snowboarding for a second has helped me to get more comfortable. And then I have a bunch of stuff that I have to get done too, like
Yeah.
graphics and things like that, and reaching out to sponsors. And
Yeah.
with the holidays too, it was crazy because like nobody's around during the holidays, so it's hard to get a hold of people. So right now is like the perfect time to just like finish wrapping everything up, and then probably in like a week from now just kill it for like 2 months straight on filming,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
that's the
I'm
plan
sure.
anyway.
I'm sure it'll work out well.
Yeah.
You definitely, when you set your mind to something like that, I'm sure you're gonna do some crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
And honestly, it's probably good that we're doing this podcast right now, because it's making me think of all those things that I can do to like keep my body healthy.
Yeah. Get back to
keep,
that
you know,
younger self where you were really pushing to like optimize your health and body.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and it's so important to have the balance. Like you start to, when all you're doing is filming and hitting spots, you kind of start to deteriorate.
Oh, yeah.
And you need to have a little bit of space apart. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was in Duluth the last 2 weekends, like hitting spots every single day, and then filming Park Edit in between, and then
Yeah.
Park Edit last night. And today is the first day that I'm like not putting my boots on in like 2 weeks, and it feels so good. And
Yeah. Dude.
like you need that so bad.
Oh, you totally do. And I'm like the worst at it because I want to snowboard
I
every
know.
single day.
Yeah, you have to force yourself.
Yeah, you have to
like,
force yourself not to sometimes.
Yeah, it's so funny. And sometimes you're like, man, should I be out there right now?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
Especially if there's snow on the ground.
yeah, if there's snow, or like you start like scrolling through your feed on Insta or
Start
whatever.
getting
and you're like,
FOMO.
You're like, yeah, exactly. You're like, dang, I could do that trick. Like, that's why I went to Afton last night. I wasn't going to snowboard, even though the weather was great. Stayed at home, tried to like work on my board graphics a little, and then just got the itch. I think I saw something on like Check the Feed or whatever, and I was like, dude, I could turkey flip that rail at Afton. And I got there and I totally didn't do it. But,
Oh, man.
but I snowboarded. I ended up going snowboarding, so
Nice.
that was fun. But yeah,
Cool.
definitely you got to try to like keep a balance. And I think that's also the nice thing. I'm going to try to find some people that can commit a little more to the movie writing. Maybe get like Logan Herbert out if he can, and some other people, because, well, one, I want to get some cool ass shots of like the people that are around me
Yep.
snowboarding. And then I think another thing is like it just helps to like not always be the guy. I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm realizing about this project is like I'm the guy that's like doing the project. It's basically like about me or whatever. And I'm like, dang, I'm getting tired.
Dude,
from
I know.
like,
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess I got to hit another spot today.
yeah, like I'm the only one hitting spots. I'm the only one snowboarding, basically. I mean, Bryden definitely will hit some stuff here and there, but I'm like, dang, pressure's on. Like I'm hitting a spot every single day, setting it all up. Like it's not like it was when I was with Think Tank. And
Yeah, where you're like,
10
okay,
of
today
us.
I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna let them do their spot. And,
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel the exact same way. Actually, I'm working on this project with Dan.
Yeah.
And Tony Wagner is like the other main guy, but he was
Cool.
only there up in Duluth the first weekend that we were filming.
Yeah.
And so the second weekend it was like me, and then we met up with Benny, and we met up with a couple other people.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm kind of like, oh, well, I gotta keep this going. Like
Dude.
we gotta keep hitting my spots. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel you. I definitely want to try to get like one or two more people like full time on this
like,
project,
yeah.
just because it really, like, for one, it helps. It's so much more work setting up a spot with only
Just
two or three people.
Yeah.
And you know, you always got somebody to help you with speed if there's more, and
Exactly.
then you can eventually be like, okay, we're going to your spot today.
Dude,
Great. I need my legs
sure.
need a rest from
Yeah.
all this compression. I jumped off
Exactly.
like 3 roofs in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're like,
My-
you should hit something, dude. I
Yeah.
gotta chill, man.
Yeah.
That was actually nice. Like when you and I met up for that one spot that we hit like a week ago, you were hitting it already when I got there, and I just, or you were about to start hitting it, and I just ran winch that whole time. And
Yep.
I had gone to the chiropractor that morning and was like kind of sore from my adjustment and sore from snowboarding nonstop. And
Yeah.
you're like, you guys want to hit this? And both me and Mike were like, no, not
nice.
really, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you got a shot. It was sick. Like, let's go ride Elm for a little bit. And
Yep.
we're cool.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, well, thanks a lot for helping me out there.
Yeah, dude, that was sick.
Thank you. I've been wanting to do that at that spot for a while. So.
Yeah, something new. Nobody's done that before.
Yeah, pretty excited.
We're just like talking about it. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
You'll see it in a year or so.
Yeah.
Cool. So, last thing I kind of want to touch on, what's your relationship with sleep like?
Sleep. Ooh, bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's so bad right now. Yeah, last night I was up until like 3. I was trying to get to bed earlier, but like this is probably gonna make me. This should also be a semi conversation about my relationship with caffeine, because I also feel like
let's hear it.
my addictive personality fully comes out when it comes to caffeine. Like I just love consuming caffeine, and I've quit multiple times in the last like 2 years. And I'll do it for like a month and feel great. And then the moment I have the tiniest bit of caffeine, I'm like
back on.
just back to the races. And it does affect my sleep cycle. And yeah, like the last few weeks, I've been like taking melatonin to fall asleep. And I think somebody like found out that I was taking melatonin, probably like my parents. I'm living at my parents' house right now. Whatever. Live with my parents, big deal. It's just kind of convenient for now.
When you're filming a movie, you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly, yeah. And but anyways, they like replaced some of the melatonin with like these weird little like sour mint things.
What?
Like, yeah, like I like went to like grab my melatonin for last night, and I noticed that like I was like, this is not melatonin. Like, what is going on, Mom and Dad? I think they found out that I was like maybe taking the melatonin a little too much or whatever. And
That's funny because melatonin isn't even like it's not like a bad thing.
it's not like bad. It's like your body produces it normally. But yeah, like if you're
That's so funny. They just like snuck it in there thinking you wouldn't tell.
I don't know. I'm gonna ask them about it.
And then it's mint flavored, so you're like, well, this clearly isn't.
Yeah, it was like one of those like sour mint thingies or whatever. Like I was like, wait a second, is this like a lozenge? Like, is this still melatonin? And I just like put it under my tongue, and then I just dumped all of those out, and there was still melatonin at the bottom. So I grabbed one of those, but I was still like, I think I had caffeine or like a 5-hour energy. I gotta quit, man. They're so bad for you. But anyways, I think
5-hour energies, you probably want to stay away from those.
Yeah, I should, but I like them. But okay, maybe someday. But
yeah.
I think I had something too late in the day, and even like the melatonin that I took like didn't help me get to sleep on time or whatever. So then I like took a hot bath and I was like trying to stretch and trying to get to sleep. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably like the next thing that I think I'm gonna work on, because I work so hard at like waking up and being all stimulated all day long. Like maybe if I worked that hard at like being well rested at night,
Yeah.
I just naturally have more energy during the day.
Oh, absolutely. Sleep is, I think a lot of people undermine how important sleep is. And I could do a little bit better, but it has been something that I've been working on lately. And it's definitely one of the big things about being, a healthy, optimal human is getting good sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know, just some random things that you could try is, obviously you could stop drinking caffeine at noon or so. Like try not to drink it in the afternoon.
I'll try.
I mean, you could try doing decaf coffee. That's like a good placebo.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes when I'm like, oh, I need a cup of coffee, but I'm going to go to sleep later. I'll drink decaf in it, and I feel like I'm drinking coffee, so it kind of like wakes me up.
Yeah, for sure.
Chamomile at night, you can, I don't know if you're interested in CBD at all, but that's that's good for helping with sleep.
Yeah.
And also not looking at a screen.
Oh yeah, they say that, like read a book before bed.
I mean,
I have one of those like Himalayan rock salt lamps too.
Oh,
so
nice.
like just chill with that thing on,
Yeah,
and it almost
like
kind of makes you sleepy.
Light. Yeah.
I'm almost like more sleepy with that thing on than like when I turn it off and the lights are completely off. It's kind of weird.
Strange. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder, something that I am really curious about is, so they say that you don't want to, it's very well proven that looking at a bright screen right before you go to bed is just bad. And that's why like watching TV, like falling asleep to the TV is just not, it's not a good move. It just, I mean, maybe it works for some people. I know some people just need something like that to turn off their brain, but it's the blue light that's in the LCD screens that signals it stunts your melatonin production, which is why, you take melatonin to kind of replace that. But because blue light, it comes from the sun, you get the light and your body is like, oh, it's waking time. Like we're not trying to go to sleep.
To be up.
But I'd be curious if there's blue light in fires because
I don't know.
Because, I think fire is definitely something that humans have had for a very long time. And it's something like when the sun goes down, you build a fire and you have that before you go to sleep. Yeah. And I wonder if that has the same effect or if there's maybe not the same type of light or something like that.
Maybe a little bit different.
What I'm getting at is maybe just that hue of like, the salt lamp. It kind of is like the hue of a fire at night where it's like that dim... everything else is black, but there's that warm light coming from it. So that might actually help a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, cool. Yeah. You got anything else for me?
No, actually,
you got to go to the bathroom?
I have to pee really bad.
Dude, I do too, actually. So maybe we'll end it at this. We can have a little sword fight. Anyways, thanks for coming over. Appreciate you coming all the way over from Cottage Grove.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It was fun talking to you.
Same.
Cool. All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
See ya. Thanks again, everyone, for listening. This has been another fun episode to do. I'm having a lot of fun making this podcast, and it's really cool to see all the great feedback and just to see that people are listening. And once again, you can get 10% off at rawlife.com, Raw Life Superfoods, by typing the name Jesse at the checkout. That's JESSE. And you'll get 10% off. And if you have any comments or questions about the show, as always, you can email me at boardbagstudio@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram at boardbagstudio or on my personal Instagram at JediPauls. So I hope to hear from you. And until next time, stay healthy.